Some people think I won. But I'll leave that to others. You know, what I can tell you is from where I sat, Donald Trump won the debate.
That seems so long ago now, but it was actually just Wednesday. Governor Mike Pence declared a Trump campaign victory in the vice presidential debate. That momentum now apparently gone after that video of Trump leaked out on Friday. And we want to welcome in now John Zody, chair of the Indiana Democratic Party. Chairman Zody, great to see you as always.
Thanks, Jason.
Take us back to when you first saw and heard this tape, your impression.
Well, I was on my way to a dinner and heard about it on the radio, and then have since seen some of the indefensible comments that Donald Trump made about women. It's just, it's terrible and is completely unbecoming a major party nominee for President of the United States.
Rafael Sanchez and Katie Hines earlier reporting that a lot of the Republicans in the state of Indiana have agreed with that assessment of it. Do they need to go further? Do people need to disavow themselves from Trump?
I think the fact that they have expressed their full support, Governor Pence is still saying he's on board and became the vice presidential excuse me, nominee back in July. And so this isn't the first thing Donald Trump has said. And so Republicans in this state are now saying this weekend what terrible things were said by Mr. Trump. Governor Pence is offered his full throttle, shoulder to shoulder, proud to stand shoulder to shoulder with Donald Trump. And so now we see this iteration of comments. They're completely indefensible. And so I think Republicans are seeing themselves in a crisis of conscience here and what they're going to do next. I think we need to follow up with them and ask them in a week whether they're going to vote for Mr. Trump after this news cycle is over.
When Trump released that initial apology video online, he seemed to indicate that he will be going after both Hillary and Bill Clinton in Sunday night's debate, talking about the past of Bill Clinton, the infidelities of Bill Clinton. He also says this video featuring him is now 11 years old. Should Bill Clinton's past be off limits in the debate tonight? Do you anticipate it coming up, and how does Hillary Clinton work through that?
Well, Mr. Trump is welcome to try to go after Bill Clinton's record, to go after whatever he feels will distract from his own comments. Hillary Clinton will get on that stage tonight and be strong and talk about what she's going to do as President of the United States, while Donald Trump continues to fumble over his own remarks. He's going to be on the defensive, I think, because the last thing we've seen out of Donald Trump are these comments, whether they're 11 years ago or whether they're being played over and over on tape. He's going to be on the defense. Hillary Clinton's going to be talking about what she's going to do as President of the United States.
Republicans will say this video, once again, 11 years old now. We have seen a lot of documents released in the past few days. Evan Bayh with a scheduling book from 6 years ago. Hillary Clinton, more emails from John Podesta, not acknowledging whether or not those are truthful or not. Is this simply politics as usual at this point, late in October, for different things to suddenly surface?
Well, there are always going to be things that come up in a campaign. With respect to Evan Bayh, he followed all the ethics rules and the scheduling, all the things he needed to do in the United States Senate to follow the rules and procedures of the Senate. He did. He will continue to stand up and fight for Hoosiers. I think when this is pointed out by his opponent, this story, it's again an attempt to distract from Todd Young's record. We haven't heard one word about Todd Young's record here in Indiana, what he says he's done for Hoosiers. Evan Bayh will continue to stand up for Hoosiers, while Todd Young is going to continue to vote to drive up student interest rates. He's going to vote against programs that help workers whose jobs have been shipped overseas. Evan Bayh is going to continue to stand up for Hoosiers like he's done for 30 years.
A fine filibuster by the Democratic chairman here for us today. John Zody, great to see you.
Thanks, Jason.
Thanks for being here.
All right.
We invited Indiana's Republican Party Chairman Jeff Cardwell to join us this morning. He was unavailable, but did send this statement saying the comments made by Donald Trump are horrible and unacceptable. After a quick break, Trump and Pence were in the SNL spotlight last night. Plus, our political insiders are here talking about where it all goes from here, especially ahead of tonight's debate. That's next here on Indianapolis This Week.
The only person I need is my running mate, Mike Pence. I love Mike Pence. I respect Pence. I'll always have Pence.
Well, actually, today he said he can't condone your remarks, and then he canceled his campaign events.
Mike Pence is a loser. I hate his guts. I call him Puny Pence.
Trump and Pence in the Saturday Night Live spotlight overnight. Pence also brought up later in the show during Weekend Update, roasted over RFRA. And on this Sunday, we want to welcome in our political insiders now, Mary Beth Schneider, Laura Beck for the Democrats, and our favorite conservative commentator, Abdul Hakim Shabazz. What should we talk about today, guys?
I don't know. I can't quite think of anything.
Let's go back first to the Republican reaction so far. Have you been surprised at all by what you have seen over the past 24 hours? Are there more withdrawals of endorsements than you expected, fewer than you expected, Abdul?
I think what you're seeing is the floodgates begin to open as Republicans react to what I've so fondly called Donald Trump's Richard Murdoch moment. When Richard Murdoch made the bizarre comment about rape and God in the 2012 U.S. Senate race, we're seeing that exact same thing. As this story begins to percolate and more things come out, you're going to see more floodgates open between now and Election Day.
Clark?
I agree with Abdul.
Must be Sunday.
It must be Sunday. I do agree with Abdul, but I want to add another layer to it. All of these candidates, particularly people who are up on the ballot this year, they are all polling constantly. And so many of them could possibly be in the field over the weekend and can maybe getting real-time data back, showing Donald Trump dropping among key constituencies, including women and moderates. And so I think we could possibly see people pulling out and see some defections early in the week.
And actually, I think that is the fact that they are seeing Donald Trump not doing so well. It was already clear in some of the polling data that Trump was losing some of the momentum that he seemed to have only a month ago. I think that's one reason that these comments resonate now, because there is no reason to be surprised by anything Donald Trump says anymore. He said terrible things about women, Hispanics, a judge from Indiana, that Mike Pence was perfectly okay with calling that judge biased because of his Hispanic heritage, but now suddenly he's shocked and dismayed?
What is it specifically about these comments? Everyone agrees that they were deplorable comments when they were made. Is it simply the American public being able to hear them and see them?
I think that really what it is. It is one thing that somebody said, or I overheard Donald Trump, or Donald Trump called me XYZ. When you actually hear it for yourself, face to face, there's some pretty strong, coarse language here. And I used to do stand-up comedy. Even I wouldn't use words like that on stage for fear of getting run off.
Glad you're qualified.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, but no, when you hear it and it's up close and it's played over and over and over again, this stuff resonates.
It's also the context of the remarks. It's the context and it's what's behind those remarks. And those are things that we don't tolerate, particularly among our children. We don't tolerate it in conversations. And so to hear him saying that, it is so jarring, and it is so, I hate to say it, but it's really gross. That was one of my first reactions when I heard it. It was just, this is so gross.
It's not just words, it's behavior. He's talking about things that he would actually do to a woman, grabbing her.
And some women have said he's done this.
And it's Mike Pence for months has called Donald Trump a good man. I really think Mike Pence needs to come out now and say he is not a good man. You are not a good man if you said this. And all the people are saying, well, I have daughters, I have a wife, I have sisters. Yeah, you have sons too. Is this a role model for anybody?
But one thing to keep in mind too, as reprehensible as we may find some of Donald Trump's comments, there is a segment of the population just considers this is just locker room talk, and you can't necessarily dismiss that, because if you're Republicans, you're walking a very fine line between do you throw Trump over the bus, but you still need his supporters to win an election. It is a very fine line to walk.
It's a very fine line to walk. You're absolutely right, and I think what will be really interesting in Indiana is how this plays out in Indiana. I mean, we heard from Todd Young, and Todd Young really looked stricken in that video. If I'm Todd Young, I'm going to disavow Donald Trump and say I'm not voting for him, because he has nothing to lose, and he's being funded by the Koch brothers, so they're not putting any money behind him.
Mike Pence has a lot to lose. I mean, Mike Pence has a lot of talk that he was looking ahead to 2020.
Absolutely.
Either as, you know, if he somehow got lucky and became vice president, more likely not vice president, but having a future to run. I don't think he has that anymore. I never actually did think he did, because I thought that he would be permanently tied with things that Donald Trump did and said, any crazy thing that came out of his mouth. And I cannot imagine that in 4 years the Republican Party want to revisit 2016 by picking Mike Pence.
Let's quickly talk about that Senate race, because this is a great example. We interviewed Todd Young yesterday. We posted the video on Twitter, and to see the comments from viewers roll in about that video and that interview, I think says a lot about where a lot of these Republicans are right now, because some said, if you disavow Trump, I'm not voting for you.
Exactly.
Others said, you haven't gone far enough, I'm not voting for you. So there's this
like I said, there's a push and pull, and there was a poll out this morning, I think Politico and Morning Consult, saying that 74% of Republicans right now think the candidates should stick by the nominee. That's a lot of people. And like I said, it's probably going to take 2 or 3 days, for this to percolate. And when
you need moderates to win, too.
Yeah.
But Paul Ryan and Joe Heck both got booed at their events by some. And these are the people what Trump was talking about who would still be for him if he shot somebody on Fifth Avenue. I guess he was right.
Let's quickly talk about the debate tonight. Donald Trump alluding to the fact that he is going to bring up Bill Clinton's infidelities, Hillary Clinton's history with them. Will that backfire for him? Is that an effective strategy? Because a lot of Trump supporters say Bill Clinton's done far worse than this. Why all the attention on Trump?
The people you're fighting for right now, if you're Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, are those soft Republicans, moderates, those independents who can go either way right now. And the one thing I will say I found out from the governor's folks this morning is that the governor is trying to work with Donald Trump to make him a lot more contrite, a lot more sort of tone it down and dial it back and show a little bit more contrition.
Sigh from Mary.
I know.
I'm shaking my head. I did not roll my eyes. I'm shaking my head.
And good luck holding back Hurricane Matthew while you're trying to do it. But that's sort of what they're doing today.
Hillary Clinton proved in the first debate that she is prepared, she is presidential, and she's ready to take him on. I think she will be just fine tonight, and I think he's so toxic right now. He's probably going to stumble.
What do you expect?
This is a town hall debate, so real people are asking the questions. I don't think you can get into nasty political attacks in that setting as easily as you can when it's just the two of them facing each other. I also think that most of the public really wants to hear from them something more about the future and not about what happened in the 1990s. Those who want to relitigate Paula Jones, Monica Lewinsky, and Juanita Broderick, I don't see that as, they already are in his corner. They're not going to be swayed over to him by talking about those things.
Mary Beth Schneider, Laura Beck, Abdul Hakim Shabazz, thank you for joining us. We also, on behalf of all of us, our thoughts and prayers with Matthew Tully and his family over at the Indianapolis Star fighting cancer. The Cubs, though, a 2-0 record so far in the playoffs. So, Matthew, hopefully that helps out. We're definitely thinking about you. Go Cubs. To Indianapolis this week in the wake of everything that has gone on over the past 2 days. We're now just a matter of hours away from the second presidential debate. Donald Trump, of course, and Hillary Clinton set to take the stage in a town hall format, as Mary Beth was just talking about. It'll be tonight in St. Louis. Who knows what to expect at this point? You can see that debate live on RTV6 and, of course, through the RTV6 app. We are following some breaking news right now as well. Indianapolis Catholic Archbishop Joseph Tobin has just been named a cardinal by Pope Francis. Rafael Sanchez breaking that news on Twitter moments ago. We'll have much more on that story for you throughout the day right here on the RTV6 app and on RTV6 as well. Thank you so much for joining us for Indianapolis This Week. For Rafael, Katie, and our entire team here on this Sunday, have a fantastic day, everybody. Go Colts.